Uh, Namaskar. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 12 of Upaj. Uh, as you have already guessed, our guest for this evening is Srimati Moumita Mitra. In the earlier video, she was accompanied on tabla by Sri Pritam Pulli. So, without further ado, uh, over to Chitrayudh to uh, begin the proceedings.
Namaskar to one and all. I warmly welcome you all to this particular episode of Upaj, and I welcome my guest and I thank her for agreeing to do this interview. My first question to her is: when and how did you get attracted to music, and what were your initial lessons like?
Okay, getting attracted to music started quite, when I was a child almost, because my father was into he's not by profession a musician, but he used to play the steel string guitar, and my sister also used to play the keyboard, and she also took Western classical lessons. Initially, I started learning Kathak dance. I started with that, and then suddenly my focus went into music, because every day and every time it was like musicians often coming to our house and singing, and performances going on. So I don't know, somehow I started singing in tune. It just came naturally. Then the initial lessons from my father and my sister, just the basic swara lessons, and then I started with I think Western melodies. So at the school also I was singing Western melodies, but the classical music learning scenario came much later. Like when I was in standard 8, it was just a informal kind of training from a local teacher, Srimati Shobita Sinha ji, and but it was not that serious. Like I was just informally taking some lessons, but the real lessons came into play when I started learning from late Pandit Etikanandji. Uh, I was in standard 12, I think, or 11, at the end of standard 11. So then it got started. And initial lessons, they were many. Like usually, how we are asked to imitate, and I was given a rag, and then I was asked to imitate the improvisations which he did. So the lessons were like that, the initial lessons.
Right. You spoke about learning Kathak initially, and that
Yeah.
is what piqued my interest. Uh, has that training contributed in one way or the other in developing your impeccable sense of rhythm as a
No,
vocalist?
no,
It
because I
hasn't.
was too,
Okay.
no, I was too young. I
Okay.
mean, it was just till standard 4 or 5 I learned, so I had no idea what I was doing actually. So I forgot everything later.
I see.
Okay.
So, because you mentioned Kananji, so
Yeah,
please tell us about his method of talim. I mean, you already mentioned there was this imitation
yeah,
thing
yeah,
going
yeah,
on. So,
yeah,
other
yeah,
than that, is there something more that you would like to share? Maybe even some
yeah. Of
anecdotes.
course, yeah. The first day when I went to him, it was a kind of interview. He wanted to listen to something, and I sang. I don't remember exactly what I sang. Maybe a modern song or something. So, and then he was quite impressed. He said, "Oh, ये तो সুরে আছে, and ये तो
I
লাইটের
don't
গলা
remember.
আছে." He said that.
I did not know.
so, so he was impressed with my voice, because it was very, what to say, a kind of modern and commercial kind, and it was in tune. So he got impressed. He said, "Okay, I'll teach, no problem." And then he chose my scale or key, whatever you say, as C sharp. It was quite high. So, but that time my voice suited that. So then the first lesson was, as usual, Yaman, and then the improvisation started. But but actually, it was just blindly following him. The process was more like that. And then I tried to make some preset tans, and went to the class and did. This was the process. Basic process was like that only.
And this continued for how many years?
Maybe 2 or 3 years, because after that he gradually started falling sick, and he was not keeping well. So parallelly, he advised me to learn from his disciple, Sri Anjan Majumdar. So we call him Anjanda. So parallelly, I started learning from him also. So that's how my training went. I mean, from Guruji to Anjanda.
Right. Right. Sister, maybe you would want to go ahead with the next
Yes,
question.
so you were speaking about receiving rigorous talim under the supervision of Sri Anjan Majumdar, and
Mm.
thereafter you also learned from Sri Subhashish Mukherjee, who was a disciple of Pandit Manas Chakravarti. So please tell us about the training methods employed by them and what kind of riyas they prescribed for voice training.
Yeah. Uh, Mostly the voice training and my the what to say. Most of my learning is actually by Anjanda only, because I learned under him for about from 2000 to I think 2013 or 14, like that. So most of the training actually I got from him only, and the voice throw advised was uh, just the natural voice we speak. That voice throw was advised, and what to say, the sargam training and the patterns of tan, what I do these days, were mostly taught by him only. And Tumri Dadra also by Anjanda. And then later on from Shubhashishda, what I learned was actually Shubhashishda never. I should mention that I learned from Shubhashishda during my university days, because he was teaching as a guest lecturer there. So I was quite fond of his teaching also, because it was almost similar like Anjanda, and his Ragdari was very good. I mean, I really liked the way he developed a rag, and he does that. So when I started learning under him, he never imposed any kind of gaiki, because he knew that I was already singing in a kind of gaiki which Anjanda already taught me. So the only thing which he mentioned was to bring some changes to my gaiki. Like Anjanda mostly focused or mostly highlighted on taking the glides more intent on using means and such things. But Shubhashishda also asked me to incorporate some staccato movements, which might bring out, what to say, a variety, and the whole presentation might not sound that boring with all glides all over. So that's what he suggested. And also, I learned a lot of ragdari of various ragas which I never learned before from Shubhashis Dam. So the basic difference of their teaching was like this. But of course,
Right.
the voice throw initial and the how to develop a rag with sargams and tans, and how to think about developing sargams and tans and beautifying them aesthetically. All these were taught by Anjanda.
I see. I
Understood.
see. So Shubhashish Babu suggested staccato application of staccato notes to enable a contrast in your overall
Exactly,
presentation,
exactly, right, right,
to break
absolutely,
the monotony of only mute, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
Makes sense. Uh,
Anirban?
yeah. So since you were talking about raga development, so that
Hmm.
kind of brings us to the question that, what do you think is the ideal approach to a raga? Because as you mentioned, when not just you, when everyone starts learning, we kind of have to do. I mean, we start with tans composed by our guru, then we compose our own improvisations, which
Mm-hmm.
kind of we memorize and play, and then we slowly get to the creative process when things happen during the performance. So
Right.
what do you consider the ideal approach? Something that is very methodical and everything is planned right from the beginning, everything has a calculated impact, or do you think that everything should come from the inside at the moment, or maybe the good thing is to have a mix of the two?
Yeah, everything can't come from inside initially. I mean, for maybe for several years.
That is
So
right.
if we don't have a grip on the grammar of the rag, uh, we won't be able to do anything from inside. I mean, heart comes much later. I mean, it is just my observation that initially when I was learning, it was just analysis. Like I was also recommended recordings which I should listen to, and I used to listen. Supposing
Can we
I
ask?
was learning a rag.
Yeah, can we ask which artists you got recommended? Which person?
Yeah, of course, because Anjanda was very much I mean, influenced by Pandit Ajay Chakraborty ji, so he was there in the list for every rag almost. and, and other than that, of course, I used to listen to anyone, Padma Talwalkar ji, then Amir Khan, Ustad Amir Khan, Ustad Bade Ghulam Ali Khan, and Ustad Bade Ghulam Ali Khan, especially for few ragas like Kedar, Kamod. So I
Mhm.
used to listen. I mean, whole day I used to listen to them. So Mallikarjun Mansur also for Ragdari portions for few rag. So like this. So whatever was available at that time, like at that time I had to literally search on the internet and download and make CDs. So it was not easily available like it's now on YouTube.
Right.
So I have a big CD collection of them. So repeatedly I used to listen to them, and so it was all about analyzing the ragas. It was not going into the, I mean, it was not an emotional thing that okay, I am very much emotionally flown away with the emotion of the rag. It could never happen, because every time I had to analyze, okay, he was doing this phrase, okay, he's developing the vistar like this, okay, he's using these swaras. And initially when the identification of swara part was happening, it was all about analysis. Emotion went away. So, but after that is developed, after I'm confident that okay, I know the rag, at least the grammar and the swaras, I'm confident on that. Then only the aesthetics and the emotion part can come. It's just my opinion, because the I don't know. I mean, it's very natural, isn't it? I mean,
Right.
unless you have a grip on the rag, you can't think about the emotion and aesthetics of the rag. Aesthetics comes much
Right.
later.
Right. I mean, in that sense, you could maybe say that it is just like learning a language because, I mean,
Absolutely,
when you were
absolutely,
in first standard, second standard, third standard, you were made to
absolutely,
write sentences that include a certain word. That is how you slowly learn to construct sentences and eventually
absolutely,
write essays on your own. Maybe the
absolutely
process is
true.
kind of like that. Chitra,
Yes. Now, coming to Thumri and Dadra, you've also received acclaim as an artist of Thumri and Dadra that you had learned from Sri Anjan Mujumdar. So, how do you bring yourself out of the zone of khayal, because khayal has a world of its own when you're rendering thumri or a dadra, because khayal has a typical voice projection. Thumri and dadra has its own way of approaching a raga, its own way of projecting your voice, and the aesthetic is different, uh, and even the texture of the music is different of khayal as opposed to thumri or dadra. So how do you approach it?
Yeah, very difficult question, because to me, Thumri Dadra, of course, has a lot of expression. The only difference which I feel in Thumri Dadra and Khayal is the basic difference which I feel is how you're placing the words, how expressively you are saying the words. The lyric has to be very meaningful. I mean, you have to place the words meaningfully. In Khayal, we don't usually we don't think of that. But of course, when we are doing a bol bat or something in Khayal, we have to be cautious of the lyric. We can't place it here and there. So in Thumri and Dadra, maybe the expression elements are somewhat different, and there are few expressions which are not used in Khayal. But regarding the voice throw and the voice projection, maybe it's a kind of thing which has been going since ages. Like we have listened to Thumri Dadra singers and artists, senior artists, whose voice projection was completely different. And when they used to sing khayal, their voice projection was almost the same. Maybe the expression elements were different, but they had a voice like that only. So it's in
Okay.
our mind that to sing a Thumri Dadra, the voice has to be like that, the voice projection has to be like that. But I feel it's just your natural expression and your natural voice, which you're using in khayal, and the expression elements change to some extent when you're singing a Thumri and Dadra. So that difference, which this is just which I feel.
Right, right. And also the semantic aspect of the music, it becomes more prominent in Tumri and Dadra, where the meaning of the poetry is of much more importance. In Khayal, it's a scansion that matters, the syllables that matter. Even in
Right.
Bolbat, you're more concerned about the rhythmic syncopation. You're not concerned about the actual meaning.
Yeah, no, but in Bolbat, we can't place the words haphazardly. That's what I mean.
Right, right,
We have
right,
to be very cautious that it makes some sense. If we say
right,
just one line or mix two lines, that is what I mean to say.
right. Absolutely. But you're not in a position to express those words
No, no, no.
like
Of
the way
course
you
not.
would in Tumri.
Right, right,
Right.
right. True.
Uh,
Anirban?
so you have been active in the professional music circuit for close to 2 decades, or maybe more than 2 decades now. So how has your approach to Riyaz and the performance changed over these years?
Yeah.
Change maybe is not
Yeah.
the right word. It would be evolved. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. It changed also because in the past it was something different. Now it's a little different. So the basic change which had to be incorporated, that was done by Shubhashish Da only, that my singing scale had to be brought down because I was singing in C in concerts, and for practicing I was doing in B, but I felt a lot of pressure on my voice because gradually with age also the for female vocalists I've observed the natural scale comes down, so the voice gets little heavier, so it's better to sing in a lower scale. So that was the basic change which happened. After learning from Shubhashish Da, I started singing in B flat, and even I do sometimes sing in G sharp right now. So that's what I changed. And in performance, uh, I, and nowadays I try to mix and match both the styles, like what I learned from Shubhashish Da, what I learned from Anjanda, and what I feel myself. So that's what has changed. Like initially, the whole rag was based on glides and means, and now I incorporate staccatos. And also another thing which developed after like listening to a lot of instrument music, that is
Uh,
the because
Again,
due
maybe you
to
could name
Shaya
a few
Kodli, because
instruments.
every day I hear him practice, so that's what
Right.
subconsciously it went into me, into my brains. So that is after listening to instrumental music, my laikari or bolbat portions developed to some extent, because
So
that's a kind of subconscious influence which I had.
here again, maybe you would like to name some of the instrumentalists who have been inspirational.
Oh, of course,
Because
Ustad Ali Akbar
Sayadda is of
Khan,
Awadhya, yes, Ajay Bachchan, sorry.
Pandit Ravi Shankar ji, and before I used to listen to um, Ram Narayan ji also a lot.
Ah,
So
yeah.
mostly them, mostly.
Chitrayudh.
Right. I actually have a follow-up question on this regarding pitch, and I presume it will benefit many female aspiring vocalists who are watching this show. Uh,
Mhm.
you spoke about the pitch coming down with age, and does it have something to do with the female body itself, with the hormonal cycles that they have?
Absolutely, you are very much right.
And
Very much.
women have a difficult time in maintaining the quality of the body of their voice.
Absolutely.
Men have
Very
it a
much.
lot easier.
Yes. And after 40s, of course, women with the hormonal changes, women have a lot of issues. I mean, uh, it's a very common thing that for me also, maybe 15 days in a month, my voice is very stable. and then after that it starts like getting unstable. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. And of course another thing which affects a lot, that is, if anyone, for anyone this is true, if you have a lot of body pain or backache or something like that, it gives a lot of pressure on the voice. I mean, I can't sing with a normal voice during that time. So I mean, yes, women do have a lot of issues, and I have known many women not being able to sing with their very natural voice after 50s due to the hormonal changes only. So automatically their voice is not gets hoarse or something like that.
Right. And I don't know if there's a remedy for that, but they probably just have
I
to sail
really
through
don't
it.
know, because yeah, because I'm 40, so I have to see it for, and for the next 10 years I have to observe myself, and then I'll know the reality, what's happening
Right,
actually. But
right,
it's true that with age, the voice, what I have experienced is the, what to say, the scale gets lower, and sometimes hoarseness also comes. Like if you have diabetes, like I am a diabetic patient, so if the
okay,
sugar level is high, then the voice gets hoarse. I'll find it difficult to bring out a natural voice. So these are many hurdles. The physical aspect is there to maintain a good voice. You have to be physically fit, and of course if the hormones are playing games with you, then you're gone. So,
right. Now, for my question, how do you approach teaching? I know that you teach. Do you think that music teachers should adjust their teaching methodologies to the changing times with all the technology and an audience that is becoming increasingly global?
of course, like in my experience, I have a very soft voice. I could never shout and sing loudly. At the university, when I was learning, my professors used to ask me to sing louder, and I told them, sir, this is not possible for me, because this is my voice. I can't sing louder, and if you really want to hear me, I have to use a microphone. So then, I mean, uh, this was an issue with me, because every time my voice was very soft and I was not audible. Even when accompanies play with me and I don't have a microphone, I can't hear myself sometimes. So that is a big issue. But the fact is, why should we? I mean, this is my natural voice. Why should
Right,
I mean, in the olden days it was necessary, it was required for a female vocalist also to develop a voice throw which had to be very loud to reach out to the audience. So
right,
but nowadays it's not necessary. We have a lot of technology, and even every person in the house can have nowadays have a I mean microphone and audio system where they can amplify their voice if required. So why do we think about that we have to uh, practice like that so that our voice gets louder? I think these days, nowadays, it's a wrong practice, and I don't know, it's my observation that this practice of bringing out a loud voice with a big volume has actually uh, spoiled many natural voice textures. The female
right,
vocalists in the past, their voices were, to me, sometimes I find them very hoarse and very manly. So
right, absolutely.
so maybe that was not their voice initially. With the practice, they made it like that. In Thumri
Right,
singing also, you will feel they have that kind of. I have seen one very established and renowned Thumri singer teaching her student like that. She's asking her to open her voice in the upper octave, higher octave, and I could literally see, because I knew the student from beginning, and her voice was very soft, and literally her voice got hoarse and she was just shouting in the higher octave, and it was sounding horrible. So this was the practice which many traditional musicians used to say, but I don't think it's necessary right now.
right. It's not very safe either because if you abuse your voice, you may end up with nodules on your vocal cords.
Absolutely, that happened, that mostly happened to classical musicians.
Right.
Uh, so, continuing with the topic of teaching, you have lived in China for 3 to 4 years as a teacher of Hindustani classical vocal music. So, how did you have to alter your approach to teach people in a country that isn't known to be very familiar with our musical system and culture? Also, how different was it from teaching at say, Rabindra Bharati?
Yeah, of course, Robindra Bharati is like we're teaching Indians. That's
How different
yeah,
was teaching the Chinese?
it was completely different because first problem with them. I mean, no, I shouldn't say problem because I was a teacher. I had to handle that. So the first basic thing was their pronunciation. They don't have this ray word in them in their dialect. Like they can't speak ray. It's always lay. So so when I was teaching any bandish with a ra in it, they used to say like piyaki najalia. So it was la always.
Yeah.
So, so that was the
Due to
basic
consonant
problem.
shift.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was something which I had to face. Next is since it was a foreign music to them, and they are more used to the what to say, memorizing a song and uh, I don't know, improvisation for them was quite difficult. I mean, I never expected also because I understood that's quite difficult, and I had to write in their notations like notation system. They followed a notation system like 1 2 3 4. Okay,
Okay.
Saregama is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 like that, and
What are the sharps and the flats?
sharp with the sharp and the flat signs.
Okay.
But then how do they determine the tonic, the tonal center? Because that could change in Indian music.
That they understood somehow
Okay.
because I never faced any problem with that. So I could make them understand that okay, anything can be your tonic. So, but this is one two because in the 1 2 3 4 system they were used to this because when they are writing 1 2 3 4, they are not using the Western staff notation. So they were used
Right.
to reading this kind of notation. So every bandish I had to notate like that and then teach them and teach them several times with the pronunciation, and then only they could learn. So that was a technique like spoon feeding them every line by line. So,
So
Must have been a
one
culture shock because they are not acquainted with the sound of Indian music at all.
no, they are quite acquainted because they listen a lot of Bollywood songs.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Yeah, they are.
So
And I
I
was
think
asked to teach them some very popular Bollywood songs, which I didn't. So,
Must have been a place between a very
you
hard
know,
place and a rock.
yeah. Someone came at the embassy and registered for a class, and then she said, "Okay, I would like to learn Mela Juta Hai Japani." I said, "Okay." I said, I said, "No, I don't teach Mela Juta Hai. I'll teach you something else."
goodness.
So, but it was fun. Like every time I had fun listening to the ra and la.
Right. Can't blame them actually. That is
Yeah,
the representative of Indian music for them. I
yeah,
mean, that is how they know Indian music for what it is.
absolutely, absolutely.
Uh,
But of course, the
one
scenario. I should
follow-up
mention one thing.
question. Okay.
At the embassy, the students who came, maybe few of them were into the music scene. Others were totally novice. So that's why I don't blame them. But when I went to the universities where they actually learned music, there they could actually understand because I taught them a chaptal bandish and they could imitate at least. So that was a quite good thing.
Right.
Uh, in this context, so because we're talking about teaching classical music to the Chinese, so when we like for the Chinese, it is uh, I mean, what represents Indian music is Bollywood music. For us, what represents Chinese music is the pentatonic scale.
Yeah,
So, did you find it easier to teach them ragas like maybe Bhupali, Megh, or Malkot
yeah,
as
yeah. Of
compared
course,
to
of course,
something like
of
Yaman?
course. They could relate to it.
Right.
Yes, and I also sang their
So,
song. I mean, the most popular Chinese song, "Molly Hua." That is a so that is a jasmine flower song. That is the most popular song in China. So
Chitra, over to you.
Yeah, I'll think of learning and singing that song when I have a concert in China to pander to the audience. We all
yes,
do
yes,
have to do that, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So you have sung duets with Sarod, more
Mm-hmm.
specifically with Shri Sayad Badua,
Mm-hmm.
who's your better half.
Mm-hmm.
What challenges, if any, came your way in building a proper duet performance between a plucked string instrument and the human voice? And what do you consider as the ideal framework?
Yeah. For Sarod, it was never a problem with me because Sarod also imitates a lot of vocal elements. I mean, plays a lot of vocal elements, and I could also copy many elements which he used to play. He plays on the Sarod on my voice. So copying that was not an issue. And for duet, actually, what I feel is it shouldn't be a duel. So uh, that is the main thing which we always keep in mind while performing. So we always try to give a space to each other so that it doesn't sound like a competition we are doing. And the framework is like we choose a particular tempo and a particular tal which suits us. Like mainly maybe teen tal or jhap tal, madhyalay, not the vocal vilambit. We don't choose that, but because I myself these days like singing chhaptal more and the madhyalay tintal more.
Is
So
that
we choose
maybe
a
a
tempo in.
manifestation of the instrumental influence?
Yes, 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 absolutely. So that is what is happening these days. I rarely sing vilambit. I only tease vilambit, and I myself prefer singing a lot of madhyalay and bandishes. So for duet also we choose such a tempo so that both our elements may be expressed. But of course, at a certain level, at a certain tempo, Tarod is more comfortable, I am not comfortable, and at a certain tempo, I am comfortable, he's not comfortable. So there we try to just adjust so that it sounds just, the result is okay. I mean, um,
Right.
that's a
Do you follow
compromise.
any blueprint as to how you should present?
No.
Any planning of sort? Okay.
A little bit, like only the last part we plan. Plan means we know we'll be doing that for the effect thing. That is, he'll be playing the jhala and I'll be singing the tan as a background and or some little bit of alap at the end with the jhala so that it gives some kind of effect. That is what we, that is a common thing which we do. Otherwise,
Correct.
nothing is.
Okay.
At this point, perhaps we'll look at one of your duets with Shayugda. So let's go ahead. was beautiful. So one thing in initially during the jhala patterns, you were singing some sargams, I think. So was that again a planned thing or it just came?
No, the part is usually it's very common when we do a duet. But what I was going to do, I didn't know. I mean, it's totally usually it's always an extempo kind of thing when we are doing. We know okay these parts are will be there, but I felt like singing sargams there. So I just did that.
So coming to a different domain, especially since the lockdown, you have been taking part in several experiments with technology in general. So, how do you think the importance of technology has maybe increased, especially in these times? And what do you think holds for the future, maybe for us or those who are going to come after us? Do you think it is very important for a classical musician to be tech savvy these days?
Yeah, of course, it is. I mean, it's not. I mean, it is because this lockdown period showed us. Of course, everyone has faced that. That if you're not tech savvy, it will be difficult to what to say carry forward. I mean, carry forward your art or performance skills because the virtual world, virtual thing is the only one right now. Now the performances are again beginning, but not only for virtual thing. I think knowing about the audio technology or which microphones you should use and how the sound setup should be on the stage. Uh, I think
Hmm.
this benefits a lot. I mean,
Right.
you need to be aware of what's happening. Like on a stage, if you are totally blank, that okay, I don't know, my voice is not sounding very good, but why I don't. So, but this shouldn't be the fact. I mean, you should be aware that which parameters of your voice should be adjusted so that it sounds good, and which microphone suits you, and even many people are not aware that why are they getting a feedback noise. So they think, oh, what is this noise? I don't know. I mean, this shouldn't happen. You should know why the feedback noise is coming. The speaker's direction should be adjusted, and such small things. I mean, it's not a very big deal to know, but
Hmm.
people should be aware so that uh, they can. I mean, they are not in a pool of water when they're on stage when the audio is balancing is going on. Because in China we face this a lot. Like everything had to be done by myself and Sayak. Nobody had any idea, and the audio setup and everything had to be done by us. And then at the concerts we faced that we didn't have our own microphones, and for balancing the solo, it was like a hell. Like we couldn't make them understand because the language was unknown. They couldn't understand. They didn't have good mics, and the sarod always had a blasted sound. So then finally we decided to have our own sound setup, and we purchased our own microphones, own equalizer and everything, so that we didn't have to bother about the audio technician and communicate with him. So everything was in our hands. So these are the things which we need to be aware of. And of course now it comes like during the lockdown period. I uploaded a hell lot of videos. I mean, people have got bored, I know. So, but almost morning and day. I mean, morning and night and evening. I started uploading so much, but this uploading part was also like uh, I had to explore. I mean, I was doing a lot of virtual concerts in the first year also of this pandemic, and I literally had to read and know how to get a good sound with the least amount of investment and set up a good sound. um, and I had to, and that was a successful one. I mean, I could find out, and in the audio setup at home was quite good enough. So then came the videos, and I started exploring how to do everything on the mobile. Firstly, I started working on the laptop, and then I came down to the mobile because I thought every time opening a laptop and like
Especially one that runs on Windows 10.
exactly. I mean, because the rendering takes a lot of time. I mean, I was really bored with the fact when I did some overlay job. The rendering took a lot of time. I mean, I was just sitting and then it was wrong. Again, I started rendering. I mean, it was a hell lot of work. But then when I shifted to mobile, it was like just in few minutes I could get a good video, good audio. So this works. I mean, this is necessary.
Is it during this pandemic period that you kind of discovered the power of GarageBand?
Yeah, no, not really. Actually, before that, because I bought the iPad, the second hand iPad from China. So, and then I purchased GarageBand and started doing little, I mean, small projects with that. So it started from there only. And then during the pandemic time, I had some time to do some kind of arrangements. And in fact, before the pandemic, I did some arrangements for on the garage band only for my student. She was singing some composed bhajans. I composed them and she was singing them. So I took up the job of arranging them. So then at that time I devoted a lot of time to garage band. So but of course I'm not that good, because with GarageBand it's very much limited. You don't get that. I mean, the library is not there, so you don't get a lot of varieties. And I can't play an instrument, so that is another big setback for me. But of course,
Then,
uh, if I can get some time, I really do aspire to buy the Mac and Logic Pro and work seriously on it. But if I do that, my singing will be gone, I know. So that's why I'm not doing that.
however, with all its limitations, I mean, you have succeeded in arranging and mixing entire fusion projects. So maybe we
Yeah,
are going
I
to
hope
see one of those.
so. Okay.
Um, I think it's my question now. I can't see Anirban though.
Yeah.
Coming to the
आए भयो भोर मोर बोलन लागे।
That was truly wonderful. Maybe Chitraj would like to take the next question.
Yes. Coming to the videos
You
that
are
you have
not visible,
uploaded
by
on
the way.
social media, am I audible?
You are
Yeah,
audible but not
but
visible.
not visible. I mean, I
Oh,
couldn't
am I
see you
not?
only.
Okay. Am I visible now?
No,
Okay.
no.
I should be visible by now. The camera is on. Okay, I'll go on.
Still, never mind.
Uh, Coming to the videos that you have uploaded on social media, uh, uh, given the educational videos that you have uploaded on the microphones and equalizers, I must admit that I have learned a lot from them. So thank you for that. Now you have been experimenting with bandishes found in old texts, trying to see how they fit in other ragas or other talas. Was there any particular motivation behind it?
Not really. I mean, it's just my. I mean, I wanted to do that. It was just a like kind of time pass because, but one thing is, of course, I wanted to explore new bandishes with good lyric, and to get authentic lyric, I relied on Bhatkhande. I mean, Kramik Pustak Malika by Bhatkhande ji. So you of course there might be a controversy that why what I've learned is that not good lyric enough. Yeah, they are good, but many lyric are quite overused. So sometimes I felt that I need some new lyric or something which I haven't heard before. I haven't heard before. Maybe many musicians have heard because my listening is quite limited and my knowledge is also quite limited. I admit so, and then I started looking for lyrics in the Kramik Pustak Malika, and when I liked a particular lyric, I tried to set them in the tal which I wanted to, and in different ragas also. I know maybe this is not a very good thing because I was just experimenting with traditional bandishes, which many traditional musicians won't like. I mean, they will have their own point. I can understand, but it's just my own thought, and it was just what I liked to do, what I wanted to do. That's it, and nothing in particular, like for this or that, or nothing like that.
Right. I mean, coming to that, it also raises an ethical question as
Mhm.
to whether a traditional lyrics that is given and has been set to a
Mhm.
particular raga and tala, whether it should be
Yeah,
sung
yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah.
raga and tala, or whether we can sing it in some other raga or some other tala. And in
See,
doing so, are we distorting that bandish or not?
yeah, that is. I should leave it to the audience to decide if I'm disturbing or I'm distorting the aesthetics of the music of the bandish or whatever. If I'm doing that, it's wrong, of course. But who's going to judge that what is exactly good or what is bad? So that is my point.
Very
I know ethically it's not right, but when you'll see, many traditional musicians have also done this. Like I have seen bandishes in Bhatkhande and in Kramik Pustak Malika, the notations are given, but you'll see many musicians have not sung in that notation. In fact, that the composition has also been changed. The lyric is intact in that rag, but many musicians have sung that as per their own aesthetics. But if they could do that, why can't I?
Right.
So I'm not trying to spoil it, of course. I won't ever try to spoil a composition like that. But of course, you can. People may say that okay, you find out new lyric, but finding out new lyric is not that easy. I myself can't
Right. Why
write.
not compose your own bandishes?
Yes, I know, because I can't write myself. So that is an issue which I have. I can compose. If someone gives me a lyric, I'll compose that. But I can't write myself.
Moreover, there I think might be
But
this
then why not
issue.
commission somebody else to write lyrics for you that you can compose
That is
upon?
that I
You
have
can
already.
have a kind of a rapport with a poet and you can come up with
Yeah,
new
yeah.
lyrics. I
I know
mean,
I can have many.
would you agree in this regard that khayal
Mm.
bandishes, the content of the lyrics need a certain kind of modernity today.
Absolutely, absolutely. To some extent, it should because because mostly they reflect the society at that time. But nowadays we don't have any lyric like that. I mean, it's all reflecting the
Yeah,
society of that time.
Right,
So,
that,
and commissioning a poet and everything, maybe in future I'll do that. Right now, I have also worked with a friend of mine at the university. He's teaching, so he has set some compositions of mine into some, and he has put some lyric on that. So, but every time people are very busy, so I can't disturb them always with just I've composed it, please put some lyric. So that is
right,
an issue. That's why I find it easier to, I mean, see the Kramik Pustak Malika, find out a lyric, and just experiment with that. It is totally my kind of experimentation I'm doing. It's not like I want to teach people that okay, you have to learn this. I made it. It's not like that. It's just my. It's for fun. It's just as per my liking.
yeah, I mean,
right,
social media, I guess, kind of gives you that liberty because, I mean, it's after all, it's not a stage. This is just something you're doing at home. So
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
if it is worth sharing, then it
And
can be shared. But
hypothetically, which
Hmm.
is easier for you? If a lyric is given to you to compose upon it, is that easier, or for you to compose the music and then to give it to somebody else to put the lyric upon it? Which is easier?
Yeah, to compose and then it's easier. But other way is also fine. I can manage that. But of course, it's easier when I compose first and someone puts a lyric on it. That's easier.
Right,
right. So we'll move on to another area of your music, that is Bangla rap. So you have been very active in the independent Bangla music scene for quite some time, having released your first album during the days of cassettes. So that is probably early 2000s or something like that.
Hmm.
Uh, so how has your approach changed over the years in this particular area?
It has changed completely. Means the ones I recorded in 1998 for and which came out from HMV. I can't sing that anymore. I don't have that voice texture also. So and I won't sing that kind of song also now. So it has changed completely. And because that time it was I was just imitating few Hindi songs, few commercial songs, Bengali modern songs. It was like that because I had no idea about classical music. I just used to listen to few people like Rashid Khan ji and Ajay Chakraborty ji, few recordings. I just my knowledge was just limited to that. So then, but because in my house, my father and my sister and many musicians used to come. They were all into commercial music. I mean, not classical musicians. So that's why I also developed a taste for just mugging up songs, whatever I could listen, hear, and I could mug up and perform on stage. So then someone approached my father that okay, you should invest for your daughter that to bring out an album from HMV. So my father invested a lot. So I had no say, and nowadays I tell my father, you did a very bad thing. You shouldn't have done that because that's a complete waste. so so a huge project was there. Devajyoti Mishro arranged the project, and I sang. It came out in 2000. But that genre of Bengali modern songs, I won't prefer to do it right now. Then when I started learning classical music, then of course I understood that like I have to improvise. I can't just mug up songs and sing like that. So then the Rag Pradhan genre came. Anjanda also taught me few Rag Pradhans, and then this kind of I shifted to this Rag Pradhan genre of Bengali song.
So how you would approach Bangla Gan in these days? Maybe again we'll take a look at a recent video of yours. So this though is not an original, it's a cover.
কথা দিয়ে এলে না এলে না কথা দিয়ে এলে না ওগো তুমি কোথায় কোথায় তুমি কোথায়
Anirban is not audible.
I'm very sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. So
Mhm.
that was firstly that was really beautifully done by you, Didi. Uh, so for those who aren't aware, the lyrics of this song were written by Gauri Prasanna Majumdar. It was composed by R.D. Burman and originally sung by Asha Bhosle ji. So Chichad, maybe you'd like to go for the next question.
Yes. Your guru, Sri Anjan Majumdar, has often stated that he refuses to accept the time constraints associated with the ragas in the Hindustani system. What is your take on the matter?
Yeah. Um, Initially, I used to follow that. I mean, I used to sing any rag anytime. But of course, after my marriage, I couldn't do that because Sayak is from my heart Gharana, and see, my cat is here. Okay, so
That brings us
yeah,
to
he
another
wants to
question
be
for you,
focused.
Didi.
Okay, I just want to show him. He wants to
I
be
Hello.
okay.
You've seen him before,
Yeah, yeah. And
interacting through
whenever
the
I
jhala being played on the sarod. Right.
yeah, yeah, true. Whenever I sit for a class in front of the phone, he always comes to me and starts sleeping on my lap.
I see. Very
Okay.
cute.
Okay, so but after marriage, I couldn't basically sing any rag anytime because Sayak is actually a believer of this, and then gradually it happened such that nowadays I really do believe because I have seen if I sing a rag at the wrong time, wrong means wrong in the sense that what has been said in the time theory as per that, the feel and expression goes away somehow, and it now naturally it comes to me from inside since I have practiced it for years, singing the rag in the right time. So naturally now from inside also it comes like in the evening or in the afternoon, the pimpalasi is only coming out. It's not like I don't think of Bhairav at that time. This is a kind of practice and belief, I think. But of course, as per Sayak, which I was discussing with him also about this, as per them, they have some theory, and like Ustad Ali Akbar Khan never used to listen or play whatever a rag in the wrong time. So they are very strict believers of this, and of course, every note has the frequency. They have some connection with the sun, as they believe. Like in the morning ragas, the madhyam, shuddha madhyam is stronger, and in the evening ragas, the tivra madhyam is stronger. The use of ray, like the way the ray is used, komal ray is used, it's different in the morning, it's different in the evening. So these factors are there actually. But of course, this science is maybe lost, but Chitrayudh will be knowing it better because he is learning Drupad. So that is, I mean, they also follow it, I think, isn't it?
Right. Yes, I mean, I have been told uh,
Yeah.
that in different praharas, uh,
Mm-hmm.
though it's not my interview, but I'm still saying this.
I'm
The
just this is
Shruti,
a discussion.
This is
right,
supposed to be a candid conversation, so go ahead by all means.
right. Um I have been told by my guru that
Mm-hmm.
the Shruti that is applied for different ragas that are meant to be performed in different prahars are
Mm-hmm.
different. And
Yeah.
some of the greatest musicians have been able to demonstrate those Shrutis. And even
Yeah.
the swara combinations that are used in that raga
Yeah.
may be different for different times of the day. But even
Absolutely.
then, there are ragas with the same swara combinations that are sung, different ragas sung. One may be sung in the morning, one may be sung in the evening.
Okay.
Bhairav and
Okay.
Gauri, for example, they
Mm-hmm.
have the same swara structure, but Gauri is not sung in the morning, Bhairav is not sung in the evening. So that has a lot to do with swarocharana, as Guruji says, and with the way the gamakas are used, the meen, the andolan, and all tan,
Exactly.
everything is used, and that actually gives us a sense. It is a psychological phenomenon to me personally. It comes with association. It feels like that because we believe it to be so, and the
Right.
belief is very strong, and that adds to the music.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Because
Because there
if
might be a
we were
conflict.
to
Yeah.
sing Samay Ke Rag in front of an unsuspecting foreign audience and just
Mm-hmm.
sing it as it is and ask them, do you associate any time with it? I don't know if they would. They may
Yeah.
just find it very pleasant, but whether they will associate a time with it, I don't know.
And besides,
And
the
there is
Carnatic
another
system doesn't give us time to
opinion
think.
that says in South India, I've seen that people they
That's what I
have.
was going to say. The Carnatic musicians, they don't have this.
I mean, that traditionally they used to have it, but by taking commercial approach, they actually stopped performing ragas accordingly. 100 years back, they
Mm,
used to do the same. Their shastras also refer to it. But
okay.
what they say is that Samay ke rag does not mean that that raga is supposed to be sung at that time. Samay ke rag means that when that raga is sung, the sensation or the feeling of that
So
time should come.
the opposite. Yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah,
very philosophical approach.
yeah. You can make people feel like it's morning with the approach of the rag or the singing the rag. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I agree to that, of course. But still, it's a kind of belief. Like since practicing it for years, now I really do believe in that, and I don't want to mess up with that. But of course, while
Right.
teaching, I
It's
have
a
to have
question
to
of
follow.
faith.
Yeah,
It's a question
absolutely,
of faith.
absolutely true. And even some
So,
musicians, traditional musicians, do believe that they might fall sick if they sing ragas
Right.
in a different time.
uh,
Like,
Right.
but then today's age
And there are
has also
musicians who
brought a
believe
different
that they may
problem.
get cured if they listen to the raga being sung in the right time. It's a
yeah,
placebo
yeah,
effect of sort.
of course.
Uh, However, because like we had said initially that this Indian classical music or Hindustani classical music, whatever, is becoming an increasingly global thing. What happens if
Mhm.
you were sitting in India and your student is sitting in the US? At this
Yeah,
point of time,
yeah.
do you teach Malkons or do you teach Bhairav?
Yeah, I prefer to teach Bhairav in the if I'm in the mornings time. But today
Is
only
it
this happened.
morning your
Like I
time
was
or
teaching
morning their time?
morning my time because I want to. I don't want to fall sick, of course. Because today morning only this happened. Like I was teaching the person, he's in US, and I was teaching him Bairagi, and then then I said, okay, the next rag would be, what do you want to sing? So he said anything. I said then Ahir Bhairav. Then because it was my morning time, so I told him then okay, then Ahir Bhairav. Then he said no,
But what
nothing.
if your student falls sick?
Huh?
What if your student falls sick? Because I mean that
What
person
if?
is singing.
Yeah. I know. I'm selfish in that way sense. So
Right. Now, one has to be probably, even I have felt this. Uh, if I'm practicing a raga at the wrong time, in the Shastraic sense,
mm,
then it's very difficult to even articulate that Shruti for that raga. Say, Tori, Gandhar and Madhyam is very different from Multani, Gandhar and Madhyam. So, if
absolutely.
I sing it in the wrong time, it has something to do with it becomes a part of our biological clock, maybe in a sense.
You're right. You're right. This is
Maybe
what
I'll
Saif also
contribute to
says.
the discussion
It's a
here
kind
with
of
one little
biological clock.
sentence because you're
It is
mentioning
not
few
only
things.
we see the morning or night. It's not that. It's the a biological clock which we associate with the ragas.
Because
It's very
if I
difficult to physically bring out the Shruti of Todi at the time of Multani or the Shruti of Multani at the time of Todi.
Very true, very true.
this
I
is
agree to
something
that.
I have also experienced while tuning my instrument because my instrument has sympathetic strings, right? So what
Mm-hmm.
happens is if I am trying to, tune it to the swaras of a particular raga, which is not meant for that time of the day, I often can't get it right.
Ah, right,
So
right,
if I
right,
don't
right.
get it right, I don't get the right resonance. So it is either that
Mm-hmm.
my fingers are not landing on the correct place, or it is that the tarafs have not been tuned correctly. But if I
Right.
am doing it at the right time, it is much easier to get them in the right place. Again, that might be
Mm-hmm.
psychological, but it is there.
Yeah. This is just a belief we have.
Right.
Uh,
Even in the Carnatic system, to think of it, gurus, there are some gurus who teach according to Samay Chakra. They may not
Mhm.
perform because of the concert format. In South
Yeah.
India, they have whole day concerts. In the morning, they have seminars. In the evening, they have the concert. So then, if they only sing, this is also a problem we face in the Hindustani concert format. If we only sing Puriya Dhanashri for the entirety of our lives, then maybe after a few generations, morning ragas will be extinct. That is
Mm.
another problem that we face.
I mean, Bilavals are already endangered, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
And as a connoisseur, I can't vouch for it that I have heard all the prakars of sarangs or all the prakars of bilavals in a live concert. Maybe I've heard in a recording, but in a live concert, I haven't. So that is another problem. If we stop singing the morning ragas just because we don't have morning concerts, then what will happen to those ragas?
Yeah, that is true. But now in the virtual days, we can have morning concerts, night concerts,
Right,
anything.
right.
Didi, so the final question for today. You are a first class graduate in computer science, which kind of motivates us to ask, do you think that it helps a musician of this generation to have an educational specialization in a field outside of music? Now, we have had uh, precedents of what I am saying, like we have had Pandit Buddhadev Das Gupta, we have had Pandit Buddhaditya Mukherjee, Dr. Ashwini Bhide Deshpande. But do you somehow feel that the importance of this side skill has somewhat increased in today's time?
Mm, Not sure. I mean, whether it's important or not, having the side skills, having
Yeah.
a side degree like this, I don't think it's important because if you want to say that the computer science helped me, it did help me, like to develop my own website and to what to say, to understand the technologies little better. But I feel in the present generation, even a student of literature knows how to handle a computer and how to handle the softwares and applications. They're quite tech savvy. So I don't think getting a degree in it will help in any way with my music. Even if I was a mathematician, I was very good at mathematics. But I'm very bad at calculating the tihais. I never want to calculate tihai. So, but academically, I was very good at maths. But when it comes to music, I always feel no, here my emotion comes. I'll go by emotion. Whatever comes to my mind, whatever my heart says, I'll do the tihai like that. So I won't calculate. So I think this side thing never helped me a lot. I mean, it helped me to some extent to understand the technology better. But even a literature graduate, I can see they can handle the things better. I mean, it's a just a
Right.
kind of knack if you have it.
Right. I have a follow-up question on this. Uh,
Mm.
did your background in natural science actually help you in uh, taking a very analytical approach towards Ragdari that you mentioned previously in a previous question?
Yeah,
Did that
yeah, that is
contribute to it?
yeah, that is true. Because I was always fond of exploring, like doing the permutations and combinations, thinking logically, and yeah, that helped.
Right.
It's not only for the background in science, it's just this way my mind works like that. It's not because I studied computer science it happened, because my mind worked like that. I liked studying computer science because it was very much logical, and the approach was logical. In music also, I tried to think in that way. But of course, music is not only logic, but the thinking process should be there. Your brains should work while performing. It can't be
Right.
only emotion.
Uh, so at this juncture, I mean, this brings us to the end of the interview conversation, whatever might be called. Thank you so much, Didi, again for agreeing to do
Yes,
this.
thanks to both
And
of you
thank
also.
you to everyone who has watched.
Thanks for coming.
We shall conclude with a short video of Didi rendering Dadra. This Dadra is in Mishra, Madhu Bihar.